Forget all you know about podcasts. We welcome you to an experience uniquely different. Please join us for our coverage of all entertainment on the fringe of society. The candles are lit, the lights are down low. It is now time to welcome our host as he steps up to the pulpit. The sacrifice has been prepared for the midnight black mass.
Ghastly greetings, groovy ghoulies and ganja goblins all across these United motherfucking states. This is the Reverend Dan Wilson, along with my partner in crime, Andrew Alexander, for another edition of the Midnight Black Mass. Andrew, how was your week, man?
Motherfucking America.
That was how your week was? Was motherfucking America?
I just wanted to say patriotic with the United, what was it? These United motherfucking States?
Yes, I think that's what I said. I don't remember half the things I said 2 minutes ago, just to let that cat out of the bag.
Well, I thought we're feeling patriotic here. I'm ready to roll, red, white, and blue. Man, the week was good. Can't complain, I guess. If I did, nobody would listen. I mean, except for our thousands of listeners on the podcast, but they don't want to hear us bitch, unless it's in a segment where we're supposed to bitch.
Exactly. That'll be Old Man Haters, and that's coming up tonight. Got a few things to hate about. I had a pretty good week. I actually had a little weekend getaway with my lady and the great Muji and his girlfriend. And we went up to Charlotte, North Carolina for Heroes Con 2015. It was a great comic convention, really the top convention in the country for, like, just hardcore current comic geeks. Like, that's where you had all of the top writers and artists, even had former guests of the Midnight Black Mass, and now a hugely successful writer for Marvel, writing Star Wars and writing the Image title Southern Bastards, which just got picked up by FX for a TV show. Jason Aaron, got to meet him in person finally, and he, of course, remembered me, thankfully. Remembered coming on the show, and said he wants to come back on the show and do nothing but talk about Disney World. So I'm all about that, and we're going to try to hook that up. That was a lot of fun. Big, full recap going to come on Get Your Pulls, but it was a wild weekend, and let's just say I got to go toe-to-toe with Greedo, and I won, and I definitely fucking shot first.
Oh, if you ain't shooting first, you're shooting last.
And then you're dead. Unless you're really good.
Damn right. That's awesome, man. So that con, is it a lot of merch? They got a lot of vendors, like, selling everything, or is it just comics?
They've got some vendors. We Love Fine, which is a very popular online merchandise store for comic fans, was there. They had a booth. CW had a booth there promoting the Flash, Arrow, and iZombie, and that was pretty cool. Got to play a little CW Plinko and won my wife a fucking iZombie shirt, so I was a real fucking hero.
Nice. Hero at the Heroes Con.
That's right. Got me laid, too, so I was happy.
Well, anything that can accomplish that is a good deed indeed.
Absolutely. But no, it was a great weekend. That was pretty cool. Just fucking back to the real world now, which sucks, but that's okay.
Yeah, always comes crashing down.
We've also got a big deal coming up this weekend. It's going to be pretty fun. We'll talk about it a little more in detail next week on the show, but going to go check our first concert together in a while. And, you know, you and I have attended many a great concert together over the years, but now co-hosting this program, we'll be able to give you a full review of the experience. And I really feel like with some of the shit we get into, this could be quite entertaining.
It could be. I don't know if we're too old to go out and have fun or not, but Yeah, going to see Def Leppard, Styx, and Tesla. I'm pretty psyched. I've never seen Styx. I've only seen Def Leppard once. I've seen Tesla once many years ago. I think Tesla, man, they're definitely an underrated band. One of the most underrated bands ever. I mean, they've got some just kick-ass rock and roll music, you know, and they got tied in with that whole glam metal thing, which I personally love. But you know, some people, you know, kind of shit on that sometimes, and they got tied into that. But that's not really their sound, you know. It's a little more just pure rock, really. And so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing them again. But I mean, those three bands, that's going to be an awesome show.
Oh, dude, I fucking love Tesla. That's the band I'm most excited about seeing there. I love Styx, but you know, like I understand Dennis DeYoung's not with the band anymore, so which is fine. They're going to have somebody to do the songs. It's going to be good. But Tesla, man, like I totally agree. One of my absolute favorite bands of all time. One of the most underrated bands of that era. When people threw the glam label on them, a lot of people who weren't into that, like you mentioned, kind of disregarded them. But man, the first two Tesla albums are so fucking good. They're as good as anything that came out in the decade that they came out in.
Absolutely. And start to finish. I mean, those first two albums, there may not be a song that you need to skip on them. You know, they had they had the big hit with Love Song, which is a badass song, but you know, it was that power ballad feel in that era, so you know that's part of the reason they got lumped in together with that whole glam scene. But you're right, man. First two albums, they hold up. They're awesome. There's something you could listen to those all the time and not get tired of them.
I think I've seen more strippers dance to Love Song by Tesla than any other particular piece of music.
Well, that's hilarious. I don't think I've ever seen that one. I'll opt for it if I did.
Really? One of the first times I ever went to a strip club, there was a chick named Starla who did a fantastic dance to Love Song by Tesla, and I've heard it at least 5 or 6 times since then.
Well, love indeed will find a way.
And it's all around you, apparently, and knocking outside your door. Perhaps a bit of a stalker, according to Tesla. But, no, that's fucking awesome, man. I'm excited about that. It's going to be a lot of fun. And let's see if the old man can hang. We'll have a good time nonetheless.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of concerts, you mentioned what was up, and I'd like to get into something in Old Man Haters just a little bit, but went and saw Lana Del Rey last weekend, and I was very shocked to hear that you're a fan of hers.
I am. I really am. Like, you know, as I get older, I kind of expand my palate and, you know, listen to shit. Like, I'm not this jaded fucking teenager or an angry 20-something anymore. You know, I don't really have anything to fucking prove to anybody or any kind of reputation to uphold. People that know me know I'm just a raw motherfucker, and I'm just going to say what's on my fucking mind most of the time, unless we're in, like, a professional environment. But, yeah, like, I tell you what turned me on to her is she's fucking nasty, for one, and I like that. But yeah. Two is, like, what actually first introduced me to her in any capacity. I heard the name. I was like, oh, more bubblegum pop, whatever. You know, it probably would just blend in with all the other pop that I hear in the background, and that's fine. But American Horror Story, Freak Show, fucking love that show, by the way. I think it's one of the, it's just fucking great. But Freak Show was actually my favorite season of all the ones they had done. And there's this cool little, like, legend story they did on the Halloween episode regarding the freaks at the carnival. There's, like, this old legend or lore that there's this two-faced man who died a horrible death, and he comes back to claim the souls of the most depraved freak every year at Halloween and take them back to hell with him. His name was Edward Mordrake. And so, like, they're talking about it like it's not a thing because, you know, the show's basically, like, grounded in reality to this point. There's not really anything supernatural that happens. And sure enough, on fucking Halloween night, like, Elsa Mars, who is played by Jessica Lange, who's just fucking amazing on that show, she does this awesome cover of the song Gods and Monsters. And, like, that's when Edward Mordrake fucking comes to collect his freak. And it's just, like, super eerie and creepy, and the song fit the piece so well. I had to go look up the original version, and I listened to it, and I dug it, and it's become part of my rotation.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs by her, and I mean, she's not just somebody that I just kind of like or can tolerate or anything like that. Like I love her. I think she's very unique, very different, and like you said, as you get older, you gotta expand, because a lot of the bands that we like aren't making music anymore, and sometimes when they do, it's not the quality that you're used to from them. So if you want to hear new stuff, you've got to get out there and expand your horizons and try some new things. And I just stumbled upon one song by her, and I looked her up, and boom, I mean, I was hooked, and I had a good time. Finally got to see her live. Went with a good buddy, Kyle Matthews' wife, who's 8 months pregnant, like 8 months and 2 weeks or something, So I was scared that she might pop right there at the concert, and I would be freaked out. But all was well, and it was a good time.
Awesome. Well, I'm interested in hearing your rant for old man haters regarding that, but we're going to get to that, certainly. Well, let's move it along to a little wrestle news. I am so fucking sick of starting this segment with a tribute obituary type spot. And, man, it's been a rough month in the wrestling business. This is the third show in a row. We're starting off by paying tribute. Actually, the fourth show in a row. We're starting off by paying tribute to someone who has passed away in the wrestling industry. And this week we lost two. The first was respected women's wrestler for many years, the legendary Cora Combs, mother of Debbie Combs, who became a pretty big star in the 80s. And Cora was one of those classic old-school wrestlers. She was of the Moolah and Mae Young generation, tough as nails. Nobody wanted to cross her. Highly respected in the Middle Tennessee area, particularly. I know Gypsy Joe and many of the others that, of course, I've had lengthy discussions with over the years from up there, just thought the world of Cora. And so, condolences to her friends and family and everybody that might be affected by that. And then, of course, the big one this week was the Nature Boy, Buddy Landell. Just in his 50s, passed away. He was in a car accident and apparently went home afterwards and died. The details are sketchy. Not that it's really relevant, but very sad, man. Not that the Nature Boy, Buddy Landell had probably another run in him or anything, but talk about one of the true old-school characters in professional wrestling. A guy that lived every bit of what you saw on television. From all accounts, Budrow was one wild son of a bitch and a true worker and one of those true wrestling personalities that seem to be sorely missing from the game today. What do you think?
Yeah, I've listened to a couple of interviews with him, and just getting a feel for how he is. And you're right, man. He was out there. He was definitely a character. I mean, he kind of, I don't know if he got his dues as a worker just because of the whole Nature Boy title in the era with Ric Flair. I think that was just kind of, you definitely wouldn't see anything like that these days. And in one interview, he claimed that he was supposed to beat Flair from the NWA World title at one point.
Well, you definitely worked a program with him.
Yeah, they started it, and it just kind of faded away. I can't remember if he said why or if he covered it, but maybe around the time that Ron Garvin got the belt. I could be wrong, but he made it sound, I think, around that era that he was supposed to get it. And, you never know how true that could be, but that would have definitely been interesting for sure. I just watched, because I just got a wild hair, and I started watching – I watched Starrcade 83, and I'm just watching all the old WCW pay-per-views in order, just on my phone, whenever I got free time. And I'm really enjoying it so far, because even the bad matches that aren't very exciting from that era, they still have something to offer. There's just the crowd is so wild and so hot for everything. You can just see how you can get the most out of the most simple stuff, and that's something that's definitely missing. But I just watched on Starrcade, I want to say 85, Buddy Landale take the national title from Terry Taylor, and just a really good, simple, nothing crazy, but a good match. That was the same day that I heard that he passed away, and Cora Combs, that kind of got overshadowed by Buddy Landale passing, but that's definitely sad too. Back when I used to get some Memphis TV wrestling, I saw Debbie Combs on there all the time, and I researched, and they would talk about her mom and just stuff like that. So that's definitely a shame as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, Buddy was, there was rumors that he just totaled like double digits worth of cars by just being wild and crazy and doing crazy shit. He was a beer drinking, hell raising worker. And, the wrestling business is probably happier that there's fewer guys like that around, because it makes it easier for the promoters to keep a handle on the boys and control them. But there's a part of me that just misses that reckless abandon, those true outlaws that just were misfits in modern society, but were kingpins in this bizarre, carny world of pro wrestling that we live in. And definitely a huge loss. And if you're not familiar with Buddy Landale, do yourself a favor. Go look up his work. Sporadic in many cases, because he would oftentimes quit. But he would sometimes just say, fuck it, apparently, when he didn't like how things were going. He had that outlaw mentality. But, there's a match with him and Shawn Michaels from Smoky Mountain that will blow your fucking mind with how good it is.
Oh, yeah.
So do yourself
a favor and check it out. I wasn't aware of that until maybe until he passed away, actually. I just remember reading about it recently, and I didn't know that even existed. I definitely want to look that up. I did read that it was a really good match, which, I'm sure it is with those guys. But, yeah, definitely kind of an underrated hand. And I like that he would say fuck it. I'm sure there was times where he was in the wrong, but I'm all about somebody standing up and sticking to their guns. That's tough to do. It's definitely you're not going to have the most friends if you're that type of person, but I'm all for anybody that, if you believe in something, fuck what anybody else thinks.
Yeah, absolutely. And even with the Nature Boy thing, man, he had his own spin on it, and he was like the last of the line of Nature Boys to really take that and do his own thing with it. You had Buddy Rogers, who was in New York, and I was on the Tipping Point podcast as we recorded this earlier today as a guest. We were talking about just Buddy and the various Nature Boys that came before him. Of course, you had Buddy Rogers, who was the quintessential Nature Boy, the original. And, he had a bit of Beverly Hills flair to him and a bit of New York big city flair as well. And then the second Nature Boy probably became more famous than Rogers even, the Nature Boy Ric Flair, widely considered the greatest of all time by many, was the kiss-stealing, wheeling-dealing son of a gun, very much embodied Charlotte, North Carolina, even though he's from Minnesota. And then, of course, Buddy Landale was like his own, he was the fucking Knoxville Nature Boy, and he was going to fucking embody that to the hilt.
But yeah, I mean, it just sucks when you lose guys, and it just keeps happening, and hopefully we'll get a little break from that. But it has been rough couple of weeks.
Yeah, really hoping that next week, knock on wood, we open this new segment with no rest in peace memoriams, but we'll toll the bell 10 times for our fallen comrades and show respect. All right. Other news on Wrestle News, a couple of releases coming down the pike with still the questionable future of TNA. Nothing really clear has come. Allegedly they're being canceled. They say they're not. Still nobody really knows what's going on there, if all people that are speaking on it are to be believed. So I guess we'll just have to sit back and see what happens. But Sam Shaw was one of the wrestlers who was cut. I wasn't real familiar with him. I'd seen that he'd done a bit of a Dexter gimmick, and then they kind of turned him babyface. And, good luck to that guy. I'm not familiar enough with him, or I don't know him to say anything, but it always sucks to see a guy lose his job. I'm sure he'll do fine. The other that's, close to us is a good friend of ours, Gunner, who's been a guest multiple times on the Midnight Black Mass, and the guy who I came up with in the business, and we watched grow from a puppy with big paws to a guy with unlimited potential. And so now TNA has released him, which people are saying is a head-scratcher of a move. As a company, you got to be in trouble, theoretically, if you're cutting guys who are young and have that tremendous upside. Like, what booker in their right mind would see a guy his size, his build, his ability? I mean, that guy works his ass off, and the people at TNA don't even have a half a clue what he can do as far as, even the fan base, because, he really only got one big program there to really work full length. I believe it was with James Storm, and, people raved about that, but they didn't really see how good he was and what he could do. And word is now that WWE may be interested in him, and I think that's a good fit. And, I wish him all the best. Hopefully we'll have him on the show again before he gets snatched up, if that's the case.
Yeah, it's always tough to be kind of objective and kind of neutral when it's your buddies and stuff. But this is a guy, really, because we actually had a shoot job together a few years ago. So we actually worked together, 40 hours a week, that type of deal. And got to know him well and just got to know what he's about and everything. And he was the first guy. I've worked with a lot of guys that I would love to see get jobs and get big contracts. But he was the first guy I was like, this guy will get signed by the WWE. And if he doesn't, they're dropping the ball. And, he eventually landed in TNA, and I think they are fools for cutting this guy because, I have no clue what he makes. I've never spoke to him about money, but you've got to believe that he wasn't a six-figure guy like a Kurt Angle or a Jeff Hardy or, some of these guys that they have on the roster. He couldn't have been, he was definitely worth the money he was getting paid, if not a lot more. So there's no financial excuse of why you would cut him. And, this guy he looks like $1 million. He's extremely passionate about the business. He's a good guy. What else can you say? And he's young. He's got years and years left ahead of him. And like you said, he works his ass off. Like I've asked people, that have worked shows with him, in the past couple of years, I'm like, I still call him Shatter, but does Shatter still work hard, or does he kind of phone it in? And they're like, no, man, I see him out there busting ass, which is awesome. So I hope the WWE signs him. I don't know. They've got a lot of guys. They've got a ton of guys. So you
they ain't got a lot of guys like him, though.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. But he is good. He's got that look that they like. He could fill in. He's got kind of the Batista tattoo. He's tatted up. He's big. He's intense. Again, he's still young.
What people don't know about him, though, he's a wrestler's wrestler. Like, they see what he's been told to do on TNA. The people don't realize that guy, he's gone 60 minutes with a number of the best guys in the region just around shows around here. He's gone 60 minutes with Ace Rockwell. Gone 60 minutes with John Schuyler on multiple occasions. He is a wrestler's wrestler. He's a studying wrestler. He watches tape. He always is working to improve his style. He's very polished on the mat. You don't get to see a lot of that stuff on TNA, so I'm really excited for his future in the hopes that finally he's going to get that look where – look, man, I've only said one other – and I'm not some great fucking prophet of wrestling. I'm just a fucking schlub with a podcast that's done some announcing and managing over the years. But I know these guys have worked with him for years. Only one other guy I said would be world champion in my career that I've worked with and saw come up and knew on that very close level. That was AJ Styles. And while he's never WWE world champion, I think he's proved that he's that level of competitor. And I think Gunner has that chance. God, he's just got to be given the opportunity.
Yeah, I think I could see Gunner in a main event of a WrestleMania. I was never high on that name. They could have at least given him a first or last name, something to where you know it. You know, Goldberg was Bill Goldberg, but he was just called Goldberg. You know, that's fine. But I just think they didn't. You know, they did try one time. They did a couple little pieces on him. You know, talking about his military background and things like that. But they just really dropped the ball there, and they tend to do that a lot. But that's a big mistake. And going back to Samuel Shaw, he came in on, I think, one of the gut checks. I've seen some of his stuff. Really young guy. He definitely improved. You know, I wouldn't say that he's a solid, you know, and of course you only see what you see on TV, and I don't know him personally. I wouldn't say he's the solid performer that Gunner is, but he definitely improved, and I dug you know, he did a Dexter heavily influenced gimmick and kind of did a bit of a sociopath serial killer type thing, and I just applauded it because he was taking a chance and being different. And, I mean, I enjoyed it. They rushed it like, you know, they do everything, but they being professional wrestling, not just TNA, but I enjoyed it, and, you know, I gave him a thumbs up just for trying something different, and he definitely did. But either way you look at it, I think those two, I think they could have, if they were looking to cut two other guys, I don't know if I would have looked at them, but, you know, they're going to do fine, like you said.
Yeah, I think so. And so I do believe that's going to kill all the time we have for Wrestle News. We'll have some topics we can bring back next week. But, yeah, I definitely hope Gunner ends up where we all think he should be, and that's the WWE. And like you said, they got a lot of guys, but they don't have a lot like him, and I don't even think they know how good he is. But he can get back out there on the indies and prove it if that's what needs to be done, because he's not afraid to work his ass off, and that's exactly what he's going to do.
Yeah, arguably the best match I've ever seen live in person was him versus Ace Rockwell at NWA Anarchy. And that's not, I ain't blowing smoke, you know, it's not because I know him personally at all. I watched the match, and when it ended, every falsie I wanted them to kick out because I craved it to keep going. It was arguably the best match I've ever seen in person, and I've been to 3 WrestleManias. So he's definitely going to do fine, and he's got a great attitude. He's always stayed positive, at least that, you know, to my knowledge. So I think he's going to keep plugging away and keep working hard, and he's going to land somewhere and be successful.
Couldn't agree more. Coming back right after the break, we'll have the shitbird break, of course, and the Strong Style Psycho Tank will embiggen us with his knowledge once more. That we'll be back with Old Man Haters on the Midnight Black Mass. Don't go anywhere.
'Cause you do not get to win, shitbird. We do.
Won't you cry? Oh, shitbird, yeah.
What was it? The shitbird? And now, the shitbird break, featuring your friendly neighborhood strong style psycho, Tank.
If you've been in the business 17 years and have had less than 100 matches, you might be a shitbird.
This has been the shitbird break, featuring the strong style psycho, Tank. Tune in each and every week on the Midnight Black Mass to find out how you can avoid being a shitbird. In this age of technology, appearance can make or break your franchise. Need to stand out in the crowd? Force FX is proud to work with each and every customer to bring them exciting new designs to reinvent their brand. Satisfaction guaranteed. Custom innovative logos can leave a lasting impression and add just the professional touch needed for you or your business to truly thrive. Let us help you grow with your own custom logo, starting out at the incredibly low price of $25. Force FX knows how to advertise. If you need flyers, business cards, web pages, promos, billboards, signs, or anything else designed differently and expertly, we can help. Send a message today with what you have in mind, and together we can create exactly what you need. The best designs, the best deals, designed differently. Force FX. Find out more at facebook.com/ForceFXDesigns or call 423-637-8784. Oh man, why do you hate everything new? Partly because I don't understand it, and partly because fuck you. It's time for Old Man Haters.
What's wrong with you?
It's either this show or indigestion. I hope it's indigestion.
Why?
It'll get better in a little while.
And we're back on the Midnight Black Mass, and it's time for Old Man Haters. This is the time of the week where Andrew and myself get a little pissy, get a little crotchety. It's time to bitch. So I know you had something that you wanted. I'll let you start out, Old Man Haters, this week.
Okay. I mean, it's just a little thing. I'm sitting in traffic at the Lana Del Rey concert. I'm, looking for a parking space, and I see all the women walking in, all the girls walking into the show. I knew it'd definitely be heavy girl traffic. A lot of boyfriends being pulled along. Not typically a guy sound, guys type of concert. I knew that. So I see a lot of women walking in, and a lot of hippies, a lot of hippie looks, some hipsters. Definitely 2 or 3 outfits is what you saw constantly, the same style. But man, these girls, they're wearing shorts that are just all they are denim panties. That's all they are. And I want to bitch about it because of this. For starters, where are these girls' parents? Why are they letting them walk out of the house wearing this shit? I'm talking ass hanging out. Literal ass. Not thigh. I saw the love line where leg meets ass. That's like my favorite part of a girl's body. I saw them all day. And I was thinking, man, if I had a daughter and that bitch tried to leave the house looking like that, I would beat the dog shit out of her. It would never happen. And I was flabbergasted by this. And of course, I was looking at it. I'm like, oh my God, there's ass everywhere. I've never seen. Man, there was so much barely legal tail there. Oh, good God, I was just like, my head was spinning, and I felt like such a dirty old man because I'm not young enough to be able to approach these girls or at least be caught looking at them. I just feel that I got this dirty old man presence, and it depresses the fuck out of me because I'm not that old. I'm only 31. I mean, if I wanted some 21-year-old ass, I can still pull that. We're going to talk about that later in Tales of the Single Man, but it's just ridiculous. And the other thing that I want to bitch about is there was a girl there that walked by. I'm telling you, Rev, this girl was as hot as any female I've ever seen in my life. And I've just got the nagging suspicion that this bitch was 14 years old. This is why guys get popped on statutory rape, because these girls are 14 and 15 and there's fucking chemicals in the water or something, and they've got these tits and these ass and they're 6 feet tall, legs up to their chin. That's why guys get popped on this shit. And these girls are the same girls. If I went up to one of these girls and was like, hey, you're hot. Hey, your ass is hanging out. I like it. Hey, yeah, ass, titties, shit. These are the girls that would go, oh, my God, are you talking to me? I can't believe that. I'm not a whore. Well, bitch, you're wearing a whore's costume. That's a mind fuck. You got your snatch hanging out the side of your denim shorts, and you're probably going to get offended when some guy approaches you. That shit pisses me off. It was mind-boggling. I couldn't even focus on the concert the whole time because all this ass just walking around.
Yeah, like I don't know. I mean, other than the age thing, I guess that presents an issue. But I mean, I don't know why you were complaining. Otherwise, it seemed like I guess because you couldn't touch any of it. But you know, it's like that's one of those things. Like if you want to dress sexy, that's great. Like,
but it was
I'd
the
love
age
that.
thing. These, I promise you, these girls, most of them could not buy a beer. You know, 18 and over was cool. Yeah, but I promise you, 70% of the girls there were under 17 and under. And that's very frustrating.
That does perplex me.
17.
Like you want to show your shit off, that's great. Like, I mean, you know, more power to you if that's what you want to do. Because you know, I like looking at it, and you know, like fucking like sexuality is a great thing if you own it or empowered by it. But I really am perplexed by the chicks who dress very scantily, like, and then you know when people look at them, they get all offended. I kind of thought you were looking for attention, not necessarily to be catcalled or. To be, you know, like you should still be respectful and not fucking like nasty to these girls, but still, like, you know, if the shit's hanging out, like I'm gonna look, you know, like looking.
Yeah.
Sorry.
A girl catches you staring at her tits and she's all offended and tries to pull her shirt up. Well, bitch, why aren't you wearing a full shirt to begin with? Like,
if you didn't want nobody to look, like that's. You know, that's the thing. If you wanted people to look, well, that's fine. That's great. But if you didn't want nobody to look, then you probably shouldn't have dressed in the manner to draw such attention. Because, no, it does not give anyone a right. It's not consent for anyone to put their hands on you or say anything derogatory to you or to be rapey towards you at all. Like, that's fucking sickening. But in the same respect, it's like you can't get mad when people look.
Yeah, if I walked out of the house with my balls hanging out of my pants and somebody was like, hey, dude, your balls are hanging out of your pants, I wouldn't freak the fuck out on them and say, oh, Todd, quit looking at my balls.
Right on. I can get with that. So my bitch is stems from our visit to North Carolina, which is a great city, and Charlotte. We had a good time. But I have to. My bitch is the topic is what the fuck ever happened to manners? So like we go to this bar. It's a restaurant. Like it's a sit down restaurant. The Whiskey Warehouse, I believe, is what it's called. And you know we sit down and get a table. Oh, like it's a loud, noisy sports bar. There's like a douchebag convention in town. Apparently, like this investment bankers conference was in town. So you just like all these douche nozzles in fucking preppy shirts that look to be in about their early to mid-20s are just like wall to wall in the bar. And they're being like, it's fine. I mean, it's a bar, you know. We expect it to be loud. No big deal. We sit down. We're having a good time. And like these motherfuckers have no concept of personal space. And they're just like crowding all on our fucking table. And my wife gets up to go to the bathroom. And by the time she comes back, the motherfuckers are basically sitting in her seat. And she has to sit down and they won't fucking move. So, of course, I look over and, you know me, in my loudest reverend voice, I said, excuse me. And the fucking guy got giant bug eyes and he got up and he whispered something to his buddy to the effect of, oh, that was fucking rude. And Annie, my wife, heard him. And, of course, you know her, just like me. She said, what the fuck did you say? And he's like, oh, I said his voice sounded weird. And like they fucking backed off, and it wasn't an issue. It's just a fucking rudeness. Like, goddamn. Like, you look at me, like, who looks like I fucking just walked out of a goddamn metal concert, and fucking Muji, who looks like the kingpin. and we're sitting over here minding our own fucking business, and these fucking douche nozzles are crowding around our fucking table. And so, yeah, me and my old lady both about got into it with these fucking idiots. But, you know, older and more mature, we just let it go and fucking moved on out of the bar. Whereas a younger me would have probably cut a fucking promo, especially if I had a few beers in me. So I showed great restraint and did not get in a public altercation in a foreign city because of some fucking stupid asshole. But it would be nice if motherfuckers had the common decency to have manners when in public and deal with people they don't fucking know.
Oh, yeah, man. I get it when you're like, I get it if you're out and about and, you know, you get a little loud or something and you get carried away and maybe you don't have exactly the greatest manners in the world, or maybe you bump into somebody, or maybe you're, accidentally crowding the table. You know, that's one thing. But to constantly just be one of those guys, I see this trend now that, you know, I mean, it's always been a thing, but it just seems worse where you go somewhere and somebody with a nice car is parked in the middle of 2 parking spaces. Like, you're an asshole. Your car, like, if your car's going to get hit in a parking lot, it's going to get hit. You taking up 2 spaces doesn't really stop that. It makes your car a bigger target. You know, guys like that and fucking, like you said, just rude, just assholes, they'll do something that's completely a douchebag move, and then if you call them on it, you're the rude one. You're the prick. You know, fuck those guys. Muji should have pulled a kingpin and smashed their head in a car door.
That would have been fucking great.
That would have been hilarious.
You know, when the guys do the double parking thing, it's always my temptation to go over there and just pull out the biggest fucking booger I can find and smear it on their fucking Lexus windshield.
Man, maybe keep some Post-its in the car and just write like a little note and leave. Dear driver, you're a complete fucking douchebag, and I hate you. And I hope you wreck your car going home and die. You know, just something to let them know. Maybe I need to reevaluate my life.
Maybe they didn't know they were a fucking asshole. I kind of doubt it, but maybe.
Yeah, that's another thing. When somebody, like, if I'm an asshole about something, 99 times out of 100, I know I'm being an asshole about something. People out there that it's like they're missing that part of their brain, like, oh, taking up 2 spaces with my car, that's not normal? No, that's not normal. You're a fucking prick. But they, you know, I wonder if people like that sometimes, if they even get it.
Maybe it's just because we were raised with that good old Southern hospitality. I'm not sure. But to round out this edition of Old Man Haters, if you don't have some basic manners when dealing with your common man in public, go fucking piss up a rope and stick something fucking sharp up your asshole. So we'll be back here on the Midnight Black Mass with Fuck or Fail, Tales of the Single Man. Don't go anywhere.
'Cause you do not get to win, shitbird. We do.
Won't you cry? Oh, shit, bird, yeah.
What was it? The shitbird?
And now, the Shitbird Break, featuring your friendly neighborhood strong-style psycho, Tank.
If you have wrestled more than 4 years and you haven't figured out that you suck yet, you might be a shitbird.
This has been the Shitbird Break, featuring the strong-style psycho, Tank. Tune in each and every week on the Midnight Black Mass to find out how you can avoid being a shitbird.
Wrestling fans, Anarchy Wrestling television tapings are the 2nd and 4th Saturdays of every month at 4236 Level Grove Road in Cornelia, Georgia. For more information on Anarchy Wrestling and on the shows, to watch the television product, and a whole lot more, go to anarchy-wrestling.net. That's Anarchy Wrestling, the 2nd and 4th Saturdays of every month in Cornelia, Georgia.
In a world filled with sluts, whores, and women who make questionable choices, one man sets out to fuck them all. Will our hero fuck or fail?
It's time for Tales of the Single Man. Will our hero fuck or fail? As as we get into the sexcapades of Andrew Alexander. What kind of crazy shit have you been into this week?
Well, on one hand, it's not that crazy because it's kind of a repeat. I mean, last week I told you about, 2 weeks ago, because we got a little distracted with some things. Actually, it may have been 3 weeks because we did some reflecting on Dusty Roads. And
it was 2 weeks ago. Last week would have been we did Fuck or Fail. We cut out Dear Andy on the Dusty Rhodes tribute, and then last week was just the top 10 episodes. So, yeah, it would have just been 1 week without it.
Okay, well, the chick that I spoke about in that episode that took her boyfriend's the bill money and went and got her hair done and all of that shit just to come fuck me. So I hit her up because she seemed a little on the filthy side. And what it turns out is she was very much on the filthy side. And by very much on the filthy side, I mean literally the dirtiest fucking whore I've ever met in my life. And you know me, I can sense dirty fucking whore and have met many of them. And this girl was the dirtiest, the whorest, the dirtiest fucking whorest of them all. Some things, I don't even know if I can go into great detail about how dirty this girl was. But it's all pretty standard stuff. Good fun times. I mean, I'm not going to say that she likes to go ass to mouth, but she likes to go ass to mouth.
You never go ass to mouth.
Well, I mean, I guess she didn't get that memo. I was flabbergasted by this because I know you never go ass to mouth, but I wasn't going to stop her.
Well, I believe it was it not determined in Clerks that in the heat of the moment, sometimes it's okay to go ass to mouth.
Maybe, but I mean, I don't know. This wasn't a passionate thing here. This is a hit it and quit it for sure. I love the situations where you don't even have to kiss the girl. That's my favorite. And that was one of these situations. But I digress. This chick's filthy. So filthy. So filthy to the point where when I was done, which, by the way, spoiler alert, I fucked. I definitely didn't fail this time. I fucked. But the good part of the story is when I was done, I went to the bathroom and a light bulb just went off in my head. And I was like, oh, this would make a great story for the podcast. So I yell, hey, come let me piss on you. Now, I want you to keep in mind that I do not have a desire to piss on a girl. I never have. I don't think I ever would. It's just not something for me. And if it's for you, that's cool. Whatever floats your boat. But it's just not my thing. But for the sake of a story for our listeners to this great podcast, I can make it my thing. So I yell this to her, and her response, it isn't fuck no, it isn't hell no, it isn't what the fuck are you talking about, it's are you serious, which automatically tells me that she's open to it because she didn't say no. So I say, of course I'm serious. So she comes in the bathroom, and I was like, I've got manners. Like we spoke about earlier, I was raised in the South, and I have manners, and I know that if you're going to piss all over a filthy fucking whore, you make her get in the bathtub so there's not a huge mess to clean up, right?
Right.
I mean, you agree with me, right?
Yes, I would agree with that.
Man, that's what ladies, if you are out and about and you see a nice fancy car parked in two spaces like a douchebag, don't hit on that guy because he is the type of motherfucker that's going to piss on you in the floor of your bathroom. I mean, he's an inconsiderate prick. So this chick gets in the tub, right? And I'm standing there, and, you know, I'll piss in front of the boys. No big deal. I mean, it could be a public place. Dudes around, you know, I'll piss. But as far as pissing in front of a chick, it's very weird to me. It's a very odd feeling. I've never done it. So I'm standing there, and I'm like, oh, wow, this is harder than I thought. You know, and I think 37% of it was the fact that I didn't really want to piss on someone, and the other 63% was I can't piss in front of someone. So between that, I'm just standing there for a while, and literally, with a flaccid penis in my hand, trying as hard as I can to piss on another human being, I have a conversation with myself, but it's not an internal conversation. You know how I am. Sometimes I just say stuff. It's like I don't even think about what I'm saying. So I say to myself out loud, man, I've really got to make some changes in my life. And I mean it. And she says, what are you talking about? And I said, I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm trying to piss on you. Like, what? Who does that? And she's like, I don't know. I mean, you just got to try new stuff. And I said, and you're worse than me. You're wanting to get pissed on. And she says, I don't want to get pissed on. You just asked me if you could. And I said, well, I know. Okay, hold on. So I stand there a little bit longer, still thinking, there's something wrong with me. Like, I have a chemical imbalance. I need serious changes in my life. But I still stand there. Finally, I just say, I'm not going to be able to do this. And I know I had to piss before I called her in there. I just got stage fright, and I couldn't go through with it. I mean, I'm sure the story would have been better if it ended with me pissing on her while she's saying raindrops keep falling on my head, but unfortunately I couldn't do it. But I came close.
So your first venture into the territory of water sports was unsuccessful.
I don't know. I like when them bitches squirt, so I would consider that a water sport. So I've had many ventures in that avenue. That's a whole different segment, though. But yes, I mean, yes, it was that part was a fail. I mean, I fucked like crazy though. I did a good job. I was proud.
So I mean, a yay on the fuck, a nay on the experimentation into urinating on another human being, but you know, you found out at least that it wasn't for you.
It's definitely not for me. And I mean, maybe I'm wrong though. Maybe it is for me. Maybe that's something you just break out with someone you care about. You know, someone you love, someone you want to bring home to mother.
It was very intimate detail. But ladies and gentlemen, once again, our hero, he fucks on Tales of the Single Man. We're going to go to a quick break. We're going to come right back with America's favorite game show. We're getting requests from all over. We've got a very special guest tonight as the contestant. What are they playing for, Andrew?
They are playing, you know, we gave away the WatchingMyMomGoBlack.com gift certificate, so now they're playing for access to Big Tits Like Big Dicks.com.
Big Tits Like Big Dick.com. It is $50 gift card up for grabs when we come back on the Midnight Black Mass.
Because you do not get to win, shitbird. We do.
Won't you cry? Oh, shit, bird, yeah.
What was it? The shitbird?
And now, the Shitbird Break, featuring your friendly neighborhood strong-style psycho, Tank.
If you bitch about your $5 payoff, but you keep going back to that show, you might be a shitbird.
This has been the Shitbird Break, featuring the strong-style psycho, Tank. Tune in each and every week on the Midnight Black Mass to find out how you can avoid being a shitbird.
SBI Bookings is home of some of the best stars in the wrestling industry today. They provide you with the best talent this business has to offer, from Kevin Nash, Larry Zbyszko, Scott Steiner, and many, many more. So who will you contact next time you're planning an event? The men of SBI Bookings. Check them out at sbibookings.com.
And we're back, and you know what time it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to America's favorite game show, Promo or Porno.
Welcome to Promo or Porno, the game show where it's always good to go all night long. I'm your host, the Rev Dan Wilson, here alongside my co-host, Mr. Andrew Alexander. Woo! And we have our... That's right. We have our contestant on the line at the moment. Give him a great introduction here because he certainly deserves it. You hear him each and every week here on the Midnight Black Mass as we go into commercial break, as he narrates the Shitbird break, bringing us all of those helpful tidbits on what you can do to avoid being a shitbird and letting you know just who the shitbirds are by the traits they embody. But he's also, hell, I'll say it, a legend in deathmatch wrestling, a legend in Southern wrestling. He's been all around the world as a professional wrestler. He's one of the toughest men in the sport, a guy I've managed for many years, one of my best friends in the world, and one of Andrew's as well. Ladies and gentlemen, the strong style Psycho Tank.
What is up, motherfuckers?
Hey, before we start, I thought of an idea today. This is a shoot. This happened today. Maybe if Tank runs out of shitbird material, which I know will be a long time, but when he does, he could have a new shit break where he describes what his shit looked like that day. Because today I text Tank and said, have you ever took a shit that made you break into a sweat? And he replies back, yeah, this morning. And I was like, well, shit, you got me beat. And I said, well, mine looked like Freddy Krueger. And he said, what'd you say? Mine looks like
a bunch of baby snakes and a softball.
For those who don't know Tank, he has certainly had a history over the years of sending pictures of his species to his friends for great entertainment and gross out factor, but it's always amusing. Of course, the Shitbird break has been just hugely popular. On Facebook, we had to attach our coattails to it as well to get you to come here on the show. So how's that going? I know the Shitbird T-shirts are allegedly on the way. You want to give the people any information on that before we move forward on the game?
Yeah, I'm still waiting on the wheel to. We're trying the one design I had. I kind of jacked off Google, and then come to find out it's owned by Cafe Press. So I'm trying to come up with a different design. And I was thinking maybe like just like a bird wearing like a mask and like a poly robe or something. I think that's kind of cool. Or just a fucking bird with goddamn Chris Crunk's head on it or something. You know, it'll be something pretty humorous.
Outstanding. Well, I know you got a line of people just waiting to get their hands on those. We'll keep you informed here on the show on how you can get your very own Shitbird T-shirt just as soon as they become available. You've also got a big event coming up. As this hits the air, it will have expired, but it's definitely a respected event and worth promoting for a moment. The IWA King of the Deathmatch tournament is coming up, and you are making your glorious return to that. Why don't you tell us about that briefly?
Oh, yeah. It's been 6 years since I've wrestled at IWA Mid-South and King of the Death matches, and just going up there to have something to prove that the old bitter bastard's back. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I kind of laid low for a little while, went and did the Carnage Cup, and now I'm going to go up there and I'm going to try to win this sumbitch.
Hell yeah. Well, you know you have the full support of your brothers here at the Midnight Black Mass, and everybody here wants to see take home that King of the Deathmatch trophy to once and for all prove that he is the man when it comes to the blood and guts and the hardcore world of deathmatch wrestling. So it's time to play the game.
Right.
And I like old Old bitter bastard. I like that. That's pretty good.
Yeah, man. I was thinking about that. Actually, today I was on the treadmill. Yeah, I do work out. So
Bullshit.
God damn it. I was on the treadmill when you texted me about the damn baby snakes in the softball. And I'm fucking laughing trying to text this shit, and people are looking at me while I'm farting at the same time. I mean, I am the fartest son of a bitch you've ever met in your life. I've been taking in a lot of protein and high fiber. Good God, man. Every time I shit, I'll send Andy a text. Well, I had another one today. I was at the fucking tricep push down, and this chick was on this, like, row machine, and I shit. And she gave me this evil, eat shit look, like, you nasty fat motherfucker, and just got up and walked off. I was like, yeah, I'm still the fucking shit master.
Hey, you tell me, you point her out to me, and I'll piss on her.
Well, hell, after listening to that story, you piss on her, and I'll just shit on her. How about we stick her under a goddamn glass table like Jimmy Valiant and have the bitch shit all over it? Or no, she'll lay under there, and I'll shit, and you can go off on the side and puke like Ricky and Robert did.
Oh, my God.
You never heard that story?
Oh, yeah, I've heard it.
Okay, yeah, it's goddamn awesome. Ricky Morton, School of Morton. You need all you shitbirds out there, if you want to get some training, go to Chucky, Tennessee, and that son of a bitch will teach you how to do it right.
Hell yeah, Ricky Morton's the fucking man. But to our fans here at home who may just be listening for the first time, how we play the game here is we're going to play an audio clip, and our contestant, he has to guess whether or not that comes from the world of professional wrestling. Is it a promo, or is it from the world of adult film? Is it a porno? And so Tank, I think, has much experience in both fields, and so he will be glad to answer it. And one more time, Andrew, tell him what he's playing for.
Well, Rev, Tank will be playing for a $50 gift card to Big Tits, like BigDicks.com.
Hell yeah.
Let me ask you, Tank, in your porn, do you like big tits?
Dude, I am a tit guy.
Well, more importantly, do you like big dicks?
I like them even more.
Good answer. Well, let's start the game.
All right.
The bigger, the better.
Here we go. Are you ready?
Can I tell this little story? What? This is this dude that I work with, and we're always acting gay and shit around each other. And I told him today, every time I see him, he makes my dick hard. And this lady heard me say that, and she's probably thinking, you fucking fags. He's walking down the hall. His name's Troy. I go, hey, Troy, whenever I see you, my dick gets hard. And she just looked at me with this god-awful look. So I'll probably be in HR next week trying to explain myself.
I mean, just tell them you're a prominent figure in the local bear community.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, let's get this shit on the road, man.
All right, let's roll. Here's clip number one. Tell us, is it promo? Is it porno?
I'm really sorry. I told you to beware of the snakes. They're all over the place here. But you know, Anita, there aren't all snakes that are scary around here. I'll show you another one, okay?
Promo or porno?
I'm going to say promo.
Is it promo?
I'm as fucking bad as white trash. I suck.
We've only had one winner on this game. It's tough.
I know, got him Corey Cox, a little bastard. He's going to have to give me a link to that fucking Mom and Big Cocks or Big Black Dicks or whatever it was called.
I'm sure Andrew can at least hook you up with some preview clips. Nothing else.
Yeah.
Which they really summarize the action anyway, right?
A one-day membership. Yeah, all the scenes are the same. The mom goes black, you know, big black cocks with pearly white cum, usual stuff.
Got them pearly white cum like her teeth, huh?
On the road to moral redemption, we'll still play through the 3 questions to see if you can save some face here as a true scumbag of the universe.
I know it was a porno, but, I mean, I heard the guy saying something about snakes, so I'm thinking of fucking Jake the Snake or something.
That's why it made the cut. But I don't remember the title of it exactly, but that was the deal. There was a woman whose house was infested with garter snakes, and this guy came and he wrestled this, like, fucking giant papier-mâché snake and kicked his ass, and then she fucked him.
So he wrestled a fake snake and then gave her the goddamn tube snake, didn't he?
That's right. That's what he was alluding to.
The fucking the trouser snake. All right, let's play this next one. I'm goddamn terrible.
All right, you gotta get a comeback here. Here we go. Clip number 2.
Be careful, that's my daughter there.
This game was tough.
Say fucking porno, because if that was a promo from any wrestling show, I would never watch wrestling again.
That is correct.
Okay. Good God. That was almost as bad as that shit with white trash and that German shit. I was like, what the fuck was that?
I found some very weird shit on promo or porno. That was a deal where it was like this kid showed up to take this girl to prom, and I guess he was just going to start fucking her right there in front of her dad. And they played that, and then it like goes with like a slow motion shot of it, and all this like fucked up color.
That's my daughter. He's got fucking 11 inches up her ass.
All right, well, 1-1.
Yeah,
1-1. Here we go. Clip number 3.
Jesus! Oh my! Oh! Yo, you're gonna die! You are gonna die! I guarantee it! I am gonna kill you!
That's my boy John Zandig. That's fucking promo.
You are correct.
Yeah, I've seen that promo many a time. Jesus! Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Well, don't be sad. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. That's a pretty good showing.
Damn right. I was thrown off by the snakes. I was thinking of fucking, like I said, Jake the Snake or Mike Davis from GWF when he was goddamn Viper. Remember that stupid shit?
I do.
God damn, that was terrible.
Man, I don't. I'll have to Google that one.
No, man, Jake had just left the Fed, right? So they bring in Viper. And, you know, Mike Davis was kind of built like him. He was just a little bit shorter. And everybody just, you know, thought it was goddamn Jake the Snake. And I was like, no, that's not Jake the Snake. And they kept hearing that it was. Yeah, he was wearing a hood.
Oh, okay.
Then they took the hood off, and then Mike Davis became crazy as hell and got shot into the sky and got a boom rock. Great fucking booking in GWF.
It's actually a quick plug for the archives. If you want to go to youtube.com/pottyhumor or subscribe, you can go all the way back. Potty Humor, iTunes, or Stitcher. We actually had Scott Hudson, who was one of the GWF announcers, for a multi-part interview on the show, and he actually tells a behind-the-scenes story about that, and that it actually was supposed to be Jake the Snake, and something fucked up happened, and it didn't end up being him, and that's why Mike Davis got the spot. So just a little quick plug for our archives there, where the story Tank is talking about. You can hear straight from the guy that lived it.
Oh, yeah. I am the fucking fountain of useless information. You know what? I know the dumbest shit. I don't remember where I shit last, but I remember the dumbest shit from goddamn 1991. Yo,
well,
baby,
at least you took a
baby,
picture of the shit. Well, 2 out of 3 did not come up with the gift card, but you'll still walk away with your head held high that you were able to almost win at Promo or Porno. And certainly you're welcome to come back and try again anytime, my friend.
Hell yeah. I'm going to win something, goddammit.
maybe for getting 2 out of 3, Corey Cox will send you a video of him using his subscription to watchingmybomgoblack.com and stroking it a little bit. So that'd be something.
Maybe I can just go to his house and we can watch it together. As long as he watches his gear, we'll be okay.
And by gear, he means dick.
Yeah. That motherfucker talking about getting hot sauce on his wiener. I was like, good God. I will say, I have listened to all of these, and they are very fucking entertaining.
Thank you, man. Well,
you guys are
fucking,
killing it. And
high praise.
Just keep up the good work, man. I'm gonna fucking start sharing all this shit, saying you need to listen to this. This is very entertaining. Better. I mean, you know, it's not just a fucking wrestling podcast where you're talking, you know, behind the scenes shit. You got this asshole wanting to fuck everybody, and then the Dear Andy shit, which is funny as fuck. We ought to have a fucking Dear Tank about being a shitbird. And we need to get Big Bank Barfield on here, and I can cuss his ass out too.
I suggested that. I think that's a great idea.
Like you said, you know, we'll fucking sneak in like the old 3-way calling. Oh, is Tank really here? No. And then come out and say, fuck you, man.
We'll pull a real Mean Girls on him.
Yeah. Yeah, that bastard. You know what's so funny about the whole little promo, if you could stand listening to him, is like he was talking all this shit, but he never once tagged me in the video. Somebody had to tell me about it, and I went and watched it. It was like, man, this is good shit. I am famous.
It was very entertaining.
Oh, yeah. Vicious and delicious. Good God.
Well, any final thoughts before we head on to Dear Andy and get some relationship advice here, Tank?
No, man. Y'all just keep up the good work. Keep me entertained.
Hey, we appreciate it. We're going to try. Damn sure going to try. And, yes, all the help you can get, spread the word. That goes for you, too, fans at home. This is a grassroots podcast. We don't have a lot of money funding us. We don't have major sponsors. This is guerrilla fucking punk rock metal style, doing it out of my fucking garage, literally. So please share, spread the word if you like it, and let us know. We appreciate it. And thank you very much, Tank, for joining us on Promo or Porno, and we hope to have you back on the show very soon. Like I said, the door is wide open.
All right, man. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, man, our pleasure. All right, see ya.
See y'all.
Thanks. All right, another Promo or Porno comes to a close. We're going to a quick commercial break. Going to be right back with Dear Andy to close out the show. Don't you dare go anywhere.
Where can you find 24/7 pro wrestling, MMA, talk radio, and more? BeyondRingside.com. Featuring 24/7 streaming audio, including the Midnight Black Mass, Sundays at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, except for pay-per-view weekends when they run a mini marathon and the Midnight Black Mass goes on as its namesake at midnight. But don't forget the other great shows like Beyond Ringside, Wrestle Rage, To Be Determined, and more. That's BeyondRingside.com.
And we're back on the Midnight Black Mass. And now, all of those lonely hearts out there in internet land, your magical mystery tour of love-making, Andrew Alexander, is here to answer your relationship advice, your romantic questions. It's time for Dear Andy. What do we have this week?
Oh, man, this week's a doozy. I need to start it out by saying these are 100%
real and legit questions that I've received. I'm not embellishing. I'm not changing the facts. And, Dan hears these when everyone else hears them. I don't even discuss them with him. I just shoot them out there. The first time y'all hear them is when he's hearing them. Oh, man, this is a good one. Dear Andy, I was recently at a party, and I lost my virginity. I'm 17 years old, and I was drunk at the party and decided to have sex with this guy I barely know. It was fine, and afterwards he asked me if he could put a Coke bottle in my vagina. Do you think he respects me, or do you think he just thinks I'm a whore and it's not signed? Short, sweet, and to the point.
Damn.
I read this. I hear this question, and I'm just flabbergasted for several reasons. The first of which being the fact that someone had to ask. I think this guy thinks if he respects her or thinks she's a whore. I mean, obviously she doesn't know the guy that well. She says that. She's 17 years old. She shouldn't be getting drunk at parties anyway, but hey, that's what 17-year-olds do. I get it. But I don't know why this guy, that's so odd, This guy obviously doesn't, he didn't know her that well. He probably doesn't care about her at all, apparently. Maybe he didn't even know she was a virgin. I'm sure that came up, though. I mean, typically that's a type of thing that comes up. It's such a shame that the first time she had sex, she's going to remember forever this guy trying to stick a Coke bottle inside of her. Which, kudos to him. I mean, that's pretty funny. That sounds like something I need to try to pull for a fuck or fail segment, but something that's left out that I would love to hear if this listener would email us again at askandymBM@hotmail.com. That's askandymBM for Midnight Black Mass at hotmail.com. I would love to know if she let him, because that's not covered in the letter. She just says that he asked.
Right.
Yeah, that he asked. And then she wants to know if he respects her. Well, the answer I've got to lean towards is no. He does not respect you. There's kind of, there's many bitches in the world. Some cases there's one bitch with many faces, but when you break it down, that you can separate them into two groups. A type of girl that you care about and you would bring home to meet your mom, and that you want to hang out with, and that you get to know, maybe you marry or have a relationship with, whatever. And then there's the type of girl that you try to put a Coke bottle inside. Those two things, they don't usually mix. I've never heard of a successful relationship starting, the first time we fucked, I put a Coke bottle inside of her. Now we're married with children. That's, people may leave that out of the story because it doesn't just quite have the ring to it as it was love at first sight. But that's not typically a thing that is going to work out well in the long run. So I don't think this guy respects you. I think he was just looking for a piece of ass. You were kind enough to give that to him. I was always very weird about having sex with, a girl for the first time. I never wanted to be that guy because, all the girls, they always forget. They always remember their first time, and they usually regret it. And, if a girl's going to think back to fucking me and regret it, I want to earn that title. I want it to be for some reason like I put a Coke bottle inside of her. I tried to piss on her in her bathroom. Not just because, it was him. You know what I mean?
Right.
I want to, if they're going to regret it, I want them to regret it for good reason. So it's very odd that she would choose that moment in her life to have sex for the first time. And please, if you are listening,
I definitely don't think he respects you. I definitely think you should steer away from him. Don't have sex with him anymore. Don't let him stick Coke bottles inside of you. But please email us and let us know if you did, if you let him. No judgment here. Inserting Coke bottles isn't my cup of tea, but I'm sure there's people out there that are all for it. And another thing, are we talking a 20 ounce, a 2 liter? Was it an off brand that you can still get in 3 liter form? That's a big detail that I would like to know. Was it a glass bottle? A lot of
was it a Coke and a smile or a Coke and a frown?
Yeah, was it a Coke that had her name on it? Because, you get the Cokes now. Share a Coke with this virgin whore at the party. That's what
they shared the Coke. All right.
and was it actual? Because a lot of people will say they'll call Pepsi Coke or Dr. Pepper Coke. Was it actual Coca-Cola? These are details I would like to know just because I like a good story. I like a good visual. So please send that in and let us know. If I get that information, I'll definitely pass it on in a future edition of the Midnight Black Mass. But that's quite a doozy, and that's 100% legit. Being asked if a guy respects her when trying to stick a Coke bottle inside of her vagina. I think that's a big no.
Yeah, have to say no also, especially being the first time they had any encounter. I mean, lots of people, you get comfortable with your partner. You might be open to trying all kinds of new things, but certainly not how you want to start a relationship. So, not that we're trying to shit on anybody's particular fetish here, but that's what you like. But also it's like the first time out, like just trying to get to know you. Yeah, no, that guy has no respect for you.
Yeah, none at all. And I don't typically judge really, just because I'm into some weird shit too. I don't aim to put weird objects. I mean, I've used a blow pop before. I mean, that's a different story, and other candy products, but we'll talk about that later. But
Willie fucking Wonka over here.
Come with me and you'll see.
The pure assisted masturbation.
Oh, those are snozzberries, honey. More like fucking dingleberries. So while you're down there, start sucking. But I don't judge. If you like having objects, or maybe your partner's not big enough, you need that. You need a little 20-ounce bounce going on. Something like that. I get it. Whatever floats your boat. But something coming out of the gate, just barely knowing somebody, especially taking their virginity, whether he knew it or not. Maybe he didn't know. It's very, very random, and I'm very curious to find out if it happened or not. So hopefully we'll get that answer for sure. That'll be a big question mark in my life. And I just hate unsolved mysteries, not the classic TV show, just in general unsolved mysteries.
There was a Coke bottle. Did it go in the vagina or did it not? I'm Robert Stack.
Yeah. Robert Stack.
So I have another question. He was. Rest his soul. I have another question though, real quick. Okay, little lady, we appreciate you calling in, and that's not to be patronizing, but you're supposed to be 18 to be listening to this show. Now, granted, if you're going to get drunk at parties and experimenting with canned goods, then perhaps that doesn't matter. I guess there's nothing we're going to say that could shock you, and we probably could help guide you in the right direction in life. So please send your questions to AskAndyMBM@hotmail.com.
Yes, sir. I'm here to help.
Always with a smile on his face.
Have a Coke and a smile and shut the fuck up.
So I think that wraps it up for another week on the Midnight Black Mass, episode 6 in the books. Train keeps rolling all night long here on the Potty Humor Network. Sunday nights 11 p.m. beyondringside.com streaming premiere. Also on demand on Potty Humor Network at that time. Again, subscribe. Go to iTunes, give us a rating, share, tell your friends. Please let them know if you're entertained. Like I was saying with Tank, this is a grassroots effort. We're not supported by any major corporations or sponsors. This is all guerrilla punk rock metal marketing. And so we rely on you, the listener, to tell the people that you like and you want to hear the Midnight Black Mass. And big thanks again to podcasting.li for ranking us in the top 150 shock podcasts worldwide. We're doing our best to continue to rise up that ladder and shock the hell out of you each and every week. Any closing thoughts before we wrap it up here, Andrew?
Yeah, man, I'll just back up what you just said. And we're not like some assholes trying to get famous in Hollywood and become actors. We don't have any illusions of grandeur. You know, we're just having fun doing our thing, and you know, we want people to listen to it just so we're not just talking to ourselves about bullshit. So, you know, share, tell your friends, telephone, telegraph, tell a wrestler. Just whatever you got to do. Just, you know, get us some listeners so we can talk about this shit and maybe entertain somebody, make somebody laugh. I'm having fun doing it. It's been cool. 6 episodes, and I think tonight might have been the best one.
It was pretty strong, man. It was a pretty strong episode. Getting back to the regular format, if we took a little break for the top 10 episode, we're going to be doing more of that as time progresses and marches on. We'll also still promising interviews, but like I said, we're taking that slow and easy, trying to get you used to the variety show format that we've come to enjoy here, and that seems to be getting a lot of good feedback and praise. So we thank you for listening, folks. That's going to do it for another edition of the Midnight Black Mass. For Andrew Alexander, I am the Reverend. Keep 1 foot in the gutter, 1 fist in the gold, and 2 horns in the air. Good night.
This has been a production of the Potty Humor Network. Find us online at youtube.com/Potty Humor or subscribe to us weekly and never miss an episode by searching Potty Humor on iTunes or Stitcher. Thank you for listening and good night.